No, you feeling a
Welcome
little
back
crispy?
to the show. Dude, I'm always feeling crispy.
Feeling pretty crispy?
Today we are feeling crispy.
A
I'm
little
feeling
crispy.
like tempura sweet potato right now.
Whoa.
Sweet on the inside, but I'm crispy. For real. At the end of the day, I'm crispy.
I know both you and I were feeling a little burnout yesterday, so I figured this could be a good, fun topic for today.
Feeling like tempura today.
Could be a grand
yes, sir.
old time. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not today.
Today I'm feeling like a new, fresh spring chicken that's made out of sweet potato.
And it's springtime, so this is perfect.
Oh my God, happy
actually.
springtime.
Happy
When does
springtime.
it start today?
2 days
Yesterday?
ago. 2 days ago.
I'm a little late on that then.
Yeah, he's a little late to spring. Come join us. It's springtime here. Anyway, first, I just want to give a huge thanks to Desmond for joining yesterday. That was super fun. He didn't even know that he was the first guest on the show ever. He only found that out after the show. So that was a funny little discovery for him.
Good job not acting up, chat.
Yeah, great job for not spoiling the beans.
Spoiling the beans.
But also thanks to y'all that were here yesterday and participated in asking Desmond questions and being so kind and making him feel welcome and all that jazz. Now that we've got all that out of the way, today we're gonna be talking burnout, how to handle that. 'Cause I originally had the title as how to avoid burnout, which I mean I guess works, but it's more of a how to handle it because it happens, you know.
Be sneaking and creeping up on you.
It will sneak and creep.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do, it will show up at some point. So we'll talk about how to manage it more so. Then we're gonna do plenty of crits today. Try and get through more of the list. And hey, if you want to get your work critiqued, link in the description down below. But y'all already know that. So that's what's going on. What else is going on in review world? We are looking for part-time video editor help. Please send an email with your rate info as well as any questions to editing@revie@gmail.com.
That's right.
If you have already applied in the past, please feel free to resend the 1 to 2 minute video that you already sent us before. We will take it into consideration. There you go. That's it. Because poor little baby Jackson is going to have a very hard time handling all 6 of the rest of us throwing content at him every day of every week ever. So we need some extra help there.
Right.
Nick says, if you wet yourself, you can put out the fire and not get burnt. Quick little motion design tip. You may be thinking that you're joking, but I'll do it right now, right on this stream. YouTube, YouTube first.
Don't do it.
I won't do it. Don't worry.
Oh, wow.
But I will make it into a motion tip, so it'll be great.
You might think you're funny, but you're actually just giving me content.
But let's talk about that. So let's set the stage for what was giving us a little bit of burnout yesterday. I'll go first if you'd like.
Go for it.
Cool. So at Review, we have 2 pretty big projects right now that we're working on, and we've also got a couple different leads that are coming in every few days that we are setting up meetings with and those sorts of things. So my day is typically the show at the very beginning of the day for an hour. And then we've got a meeting with the team to all say like, hey, we're each doing these things today. And then I'll spend a good chunk of time working on one of those clients. We'll have some other meeting or making content or something. And then I'll get back to whatever I was doing on that project. And then it's the end of the day already. Like all of that happens very, very fast for me. So that can leave me feeling a little bit like I am stuck on a what's a good reference for that? Stuck on a train track or something, you know, like I can't really turn in many directions. I'm kind of just going where the track tells me to. And can be kind of frustrating because as motion designers, we all know that like it can take a sec to get into a state of flow. So jumping between all these different things every day can leave me having like a bunch of stuff that I've already done at the very beginning of the day. And then when it gets to the time where I actually have time to work on projects later, I have like no energy left to be able to do it. Try as I might. So I was feeling a little unproductive at sometimes yesterday. Even though I got a good amount of stuff done, I just didn't get everything on my list of like 12 things I wanted to get done in the way that I wanted to. So that's where I was at. I'm assuming it was kind of similar for you.
Yeah, I had a list and I ended up getting like bogged down doing one thing. And it used up so much of my focus and my mental energy that when it came time to like move on and do other stuff, I was like, dude, I don't have any left in me. Like I used it all, like designing really hard for this thing.
Yeah.
And then it's just that on top of like the other little things I did in the morning. Sometimes it does feel like things are just like constantly they need your attention and there's just a bunch of little things to do and it feels so like exhausting at times.
Yeah.
And you just need to like get into a deep focus on something else, but it's just like it's hard to prioritize sometimes.
I know. And I know you and I are both in that same boat right now of like, yes, we have client stuff, but also like we have to be doing this like social push and we have to be managing new leads that are coming in at the same time. And so it can be hard to like play in that current client work land for as much time as is usually needed for that work. Whenever we are also constantly worried about like being able to bring in more work or thinking about, are we putting out enough stuff to like give us runway? Should we not have projects and those sorts of things?
Yeah.
It's hard to play both in the present and the future at the same time.
It is. It's absolutely tricky. Well, Austin, went a little Chewbacca there. How did you handle it apart from just taking a little rest? Like what happens when it gets worse than that?
Well, I mean, for me, I just got to take a sec to rest sometimes. So, I mean, sometimes I just got to listen to that instinct. But otherwise, usually that burnout is coming from a place of it's a disparity between the actual work that needs to get done and the work that I want to be doing. There's like something. It's not that I just want to sit and do nothing. It's almost never the case. What's usually happening is that I got a little taste of something that was super fun and new to do, and I would like to go and experience that. Like I would love to be able to right now take the time to really flesh out that game show that we did the other day. Like that would be super, super fun if we could have that be a recurring thing that was easy enough to like spin up and whatever. Or I don't know. It's a balancing act, you know, like I'll want to go and push on those little glimpses of dopamine that I'm getting throughout the day, whether it's like, I don't know, last night I sent that little voice message with the stupid voice mod thing to you know who, and that was like one of the highlights of my day, even though it was some silly, stupid little thing, you know, but that's like building client relationships and stuff. And so really what I need to do, there's really two paths. It's either I just need to rest or I need to just go and follow wherever the passion is taking me in that moment. And usually whatever that is in that moment will only take like 30 minutes to an hour for me to experience. And then I have like more mental space to come back to the thing that I was doing anyway.
I was going to say something actually very similar. I find that there's like two or three kinds of burnout for me. There's like the one where I'm just like yesterday was very much a focus one. It was like, I don't have any focus left in me. I need to go just do whatever and not work and not have anything that like requires a lot of focus, because I was just doing that, even if it was like really fun or if I hated it, whatever.
Yeah.
Like my focus was drained. I was a little crispy. I was toasting. I was smoking a little. And then there's like the kind of creative burnout where it's very much what you were talking about. I find that like sometimes I mistake it and I'm like, I'm a little burnt out. Maybe I need to rest. And then it just like kind of gets worse a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, no, I actually just needed to do something that I cared about and like make something. And usually content fills that void.
Agreed.
It's always such a good time, especially when you don't have to edit it. Shout out to Jackson. But like just making something I'm proud of and doing something that I actually care. And you have to just like push through that beginning part of just ickiness, especially when you're burnt out. You have low creative confidence and it can just be like so hard to like push through anyway. But the more you do it, the easier it is to get past it and to be like, I've gotten through this before. I can go again. The third type of burnout for me is it's like I don't know if it's exactly burnout, but it's just this like almost a little depressy feeling of like I'm in like my head. There's like little circles of thought going on, and in that case, I really just need to like get out and talk to people. Not necessarily about how I'm feeling, but I need to be socialized. You know what I mean?
Look at
I'm an
this little
extrovert,
extrovert. Ew.
and that like it wakes some bit of me up, especially meeting new people and just talking to them. It kind of like recontextualizes yourself, and I'm able to just kind of come back to my work and be like, I actually love what I'm doing and I'm having a great time. I find that every time I go out and meet new people the next day, I'm like double excited to work on review stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was me with Commotion, you know?
Yeah.
But my extroversion almost solely lies within things that will progress my career forward. So,
Right. He's
know.
a success-driven boy. What can I say?
Otherwise, it's just a no-go for me most days. But I'm with you. I mean, this show is both a blessing and a curse. Like, it fills that content thing for me sometimes, where I'm just like, I just need to make something. Like, I just need to talk about stuff I'm excited about and have this engaged thing. But it can also be like oh, we had a really, really good show today. Like when the show is really, really great, sometimes it's even harder to just do things throughout the day because I'm like, but that was so good. We could have kept doing that for hours.
You just kept the Daily Motion show going for hours.
Because I got so used to streaming the loops for like 8 hours or whatever. Like this hour-long block is nothing to me now, you know?
It's easy peasy. It flies by.
It's great.
This is rah rah ravi.
And he says also that I've noticed imposter syndrome more than ever lately, and I wonder if you guys get that at all.
Well, Will Taylor, the choir.
What up, Haley? How you doing?
What's up, Mose? Oh, that's Haley. How you doing? Yeah. I mean, it's less and less, honestly. Nick M says beautiful voice by the way, Austin.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not more and more for me. I'll speak for myself here. You agree, Austin? Yes or no? Y or N? Please circle one.
I need to know what you're gonna say before you.
Oh, I'm just saying,
before I
I'm asking
agree.
if you've noticed it more recently, because it's been less for me recently.
No, yes, I agree that I have had decreasing imposter syndrome basically ever since we brought anybody onto the team.
There's no room for it, honestly. You gotta squash it like a little bug. Fucked out. I don't know. I think we've had a stream about imposter syndrome.
We did do an episode about imposter syndrome, but we can give a little some advice to our team member, homie, and friend Will on the spot.
So imposter syndrome and burnout, like
they kind of go hand in
feed each
hand.
other. It's
They're
like oxygen and fire. It's
really nasty
terrible.
beasts.
Nasty little bugs.
That was
would you
what
say
we
on
did with the
imposter
imposter syndrome episode. Was go through like these 4 different monsters or whatever that cause imposter syndrome or something.
I loved that. Wasn't it like
That was a good show.
That was so much fun.
That was a good show. Anyway, man, I feel like sometimes you put too much pressure on yourself, you know, to perform or like have to have your design or motion like look and feel a certain way. When I feel like, especially recently, I mean, Noah and I were sitting there yesterday really freaked out because we were like, but there's no way we're going to get these storyboards done for this project that Will knows about, but that we can't mention the name of. And Noah and I were just like, why are we so freaked out about this right now? We could so easily just give a sample platter to this client of what we do have. Like, why are we preemptively trying to make this perfect thing when it's their job to give us feedback, you know? Why open ourselves up to potentially having to change like half the work when they'll get the gist with just like a quarter of what we can do, you know? Mm-hmm. So but like having that conversation and being able to rely on each other in that way to sort of convince ourselves of not having to push so hard sometimes is part of what I really enjoy about being on a team, because it's way easier to just be like, wait, I don't have to do all of this myself, you know? Like I really rely on everybody on the team way more than I used to. I used to be so just a solo person. I would always just run and gun and do my thing on my own and whatever. I mean, even when it was just me and Noah, like I still was just kind of doing whatever the fuck I wanted, you know? But now it's way easier to just be like, wait, I can just hold back. I don't have to carry this whole weight by myself, you know?
Hold me back.
Hold me back. I don't have to carry this whole weight by myself, you know? And anytime I do feel like I get stuck or something, especially on creative, I just talk to the other people on the team and I either get their feedback on ideas or I just ask them how they would approach something, you know? Or the best feeling, even though it kind of takes me a second to like be willing to say it, is just be like, you are going to be so much better at this than I would be. Can you please take this off my plate and I will just do something else to help this move along, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's sometimes, you know, could feel like an exercise of like, well, I'm just passing off work now, you know, like I'm not really contributing and doing my part or whatever, but that's just not the case. There are genuinely times where I am just not the best person to do something and I just will retreat now from that because I know that I've got people on the team that are better than me at that. Or even if somebody just might be able to get something done faster, even if it's not going to be like the best thing necessarily, sometimes that's just, you just don't need it, you know? Sometimes if somebody is just more passionate about it, that's really all that matters. So I would just, you know, I mean, imposter syndrome is a self-inflicted nasty wound most of the time. You just gotta consistently remind yourself that you've got other people that you can rely on. That's what has completely diminished it for me, I think.
Also, remind yourself with your own work. Like sometimes I'll get in this silly ass little loop of like starting something and I will never get excited about it because I'll just like kind of keep restarting and being too judgmental at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then that kind of just like feeds imposter syndrome and it's just like you keep getting pushed down and it's like you're at the bottom of a well and it's slowly filling up with water and you just make like these half-assed efforts, or you like start to climb out and you're like, actually I don't really like this route, and so you drop back down into the rising water and you try another one, you're like, actually I don't really like this route. Like eventually you're gonna just drown. You have to just commit to it and like keep going and be like, I don't care, it might be difficult but I'm just gonna keep going. And once you get to the top of the well, you're like, that wasn't so bad after all. Like I can do that shit. I can do that shit all day.
Yeah.
Like just make some shit and then make it until it's good. Prove to yourself that it's not any imposter shit to worry about.
Yeah.
Or make some stuff with someone else, you know?
I'd
make something and then post it, get some social validation. Like you're wonderful, Will.
That's another huge thing for me. I feel incredibly lucky to be able to just make whatever loop or whatever I want at this point and have it be like just numbers on social media now that like younger me would have dreamed of, you know? And that social validation makes imposter syndrome go away a lot easier. But I truly think that just having a team at all is like completely overpowered against imposter syndrome, you know? Because the only time I ever feel imposter syndrome now is when I have to make an animation by myself. That's the only time. And it makes sense because then I'm just in my own echo chamber. The only imposter syndrome can come from me, really, right. And how I am judging my work or whatever, you know? So just make some homies, you know? Make some homies and hang and work together on stuff. It just makes it so much easier.
There's no room for imposter syndrome on the team.
We say, bah, 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 to that. Get it out. Go away. Now, on that note, to give other people imposter syndrome, I believe it's time for some freaking crits, brother. Would you agree?
Ooh, I would have to agree.
I don't know. You don't have your glasses on. I feel like you're not in crit mode. I kind of feel like you're not in your crit mode, dude.
Let me go ahead and open up.
Oh, snap. It's almost crit time. Oh, snap. It's crit time.
Woo! I'll turn on my voice mod later.
All right, y'all.
Y'all just wait for tomorrow. It's gonna be insane.
Here we go. We have this 2D and 3D motion demo reel from Michael Kablitz. I believe in their submission, they did say that they are traditionally designing things for social media most of the time. So whatever we need to take that into account for. Here we go.
Oh, that's fun.
Man, I really thought it was going to make it. I thought it was so close. I thought I was going to hover and it was going to be like 5 seconds before the end, but it just wasn't quite there.
What time was that? Like,
it was 30. It was like 27 or so.
Our attention span is exactly 30
minutes. Seconds.
30 seconds, 30 minutes. Oh, God.
30-minute reels. Let's go. Come on.
This was just 10 times. What was that? 100 times longer? I don't know. No, that's not right because it's out of 60. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
It's
you know
okay.
what? This is a piece of feedback I haven't given before, but your sound effects are a little invasive. Like they're kind of loud on some of them. It's towards the beginning mostly.
I was going to say, I feel like I didn't. Oh, I see.
Like that's cute. And then it's like
it's pretty
loud.
harsh. Yeah.
The one with the tree is like a lot too.
It's like a doo, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Crackling of the tree.
The reason that,
Yeah.
or sorry, go ahead. I was going to talk about the 30-second thing. Go ahead.
I was just reiterating, like the sound effects kind of, they're nice, but they got to be a lot subtler. That kind of takes me out of it, and like that with changing styles is kind of a lot of change.
Yeah.
You're saying 30 seconds?
It would have. You have such a strong beat in that track. Like those trumpets and horns are blaring. All right, and so to have it at the beginning, like pretty well timed to that music, and then to have some of these things just go on for too long. That's really what it is. I mean, there's especially the one where the like white ball is just like. I got the point of that animation within the first quarter of a second that it was on screen. I did not need to keep looking at that. It wasn't like one of the best shots out of the whole thing. So I guess generally just shorten it to like 30 and you'd probably be fine. People are really just gonna think like these fucking Zoomers have no attention span, but I don't know. We're just that's
honestly,
how it goes, man. I don't know.
Like 90 of the people who like want to hire and have to look at 1,000 reels. Like they don't want
to go through. You don't want to have that feeling of I've seen too much. You know, like it should always have that feeling of being a trailer to your motion design movie, and then the movie being your portfolio, or them contacting you and meeting you and whatever. But you want them feeling like they haven't seen all of it. You know. Time Mark Dan says we saw that mouse hover over the video and everyone knew what Austin was thinking. That's right, and it's like always 30 seconds, y'all. I'm telling you, the days of 60-second to a minute and a half long reels are over. And I know this is only 45, but it's still too long. It would be okay if it was 45 if it was like packed to the brim on like almost every single one of those beats. We were getting something new, but we're seeing so many like. Similar
like
things, you know?
Interesting slight narrative, or like you have massive projects with a lot of complex stuff that you helped work on. Usually that stuff works if you're a studio, but if you're just a freelancer, like, or it's just one person, probably keep it down to 30.
Agreed. And
also, like, there's a little bit of a discrepancy in the quality of work here.
Agreed.
Like, some shots are very cool, and some shots
are just not.
Flat. You don't gotta include all the stuff. You don't have to show like, look, I can do everything. That's not necessarily what people want to see. They want to
be impressed.
See your best stuff. Impress them. Blow their minds. Don't give them enough. Be like, oh my God, this person's a genius. I gotta see more. That's what you want to leave them with. Not necessarily like, wow, this person can do so many different styles. It's a little overwhelming, and also it's too much.
Agreed.
So,
Now,
cut faster.
one more piece of feedback on just the overall work, especially at the beginning here. This one's fine. This and this and this one, they all look like pre-comps. And I'll explain what I mean by that. But I don't want to be able to have it feel like it's all just one singular block, you know? It doesn't feel like the scenes are dynamic enough to where they feel like a singular asset sometimes, where this thing feels like it's just pegged to the center of the screen, you know? It's a very pretty thing, but it would be cool to have some like something breaking up that that shot, maybe. Or like maybe it's just because there's like 3 of these in a row that feel this way. But I don't know. Like some rotation here or something to make it just feel a little bit more organic. It feels too machined, you know? Where like especially this shot, these things just feel like they're on sliders, you know? But it could be cool to just make them feel a little bit more organic to where they feel like they were made by a human, you know? Sometimes it can be cool to just add in some like extra overshoot, or like maybe one of them, like when it like gets all the way over to the last point, it like stops by like kind of rotating on its edge and then comes back or something. And you could see that on both sides or something like that. But this feels like something that I would have as like an element in a scene, but would not take up like an entire screen, you know? It just feels a little, what word would for that? Large works, but I mean more of like it doesn't feel like it's something that holistically like encapsulates all of what you can do. You know, there are scenes in this reel that feel more finished and like they've got more to them. You know, like this feels like a well thought through, like I can understand what this world of stuff looks like, you know? But some of the other stuff feels very standalone, and like I couldn't really understand what the rest of that video might look like, you know?
Right.
But that's it for me.
Dare I say?
Boom roasted. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Now we've got
appreciate you.
A reel from a studio. This is so exciting, guys. This studio is called A Little Too Much, and they want us to roast it. And I'm excited.
We should have named ourselves that.
Now,
that's a good name.
2-minute long reel. I'm just gonna say it out the gate. You might be pushing it, but we'll see. I'll hover my mouse over when I'm feeling it. All right.
I'll go when I'm feeling it. This is something really slow.
This is not a good reel so far, dare I say. It's getting better. The momentum just cannot rise.
I'm gonna go with what time?
30. Well, I mean, it's kind of quiet, so I feel like we can kind of talk while this is happening.
Yeah.
Everything is so static.
I was gonna say.
It's so static.
Feels like it's been pinned to the center of the screen, not allowed to move.
There's also, we're showing way too much of every single one of these projects. Again, like you could probably get away with just like one scene from each of these. But this is just too much. There's too much being shown here. We understood the gist of what this work was going to look like within the first like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for us to see that whole scene. There's no reason.
That guy's cute.
You don't have to show it all.
That went on for so long, and we're doing it again.
It's like every single scene just like isn't cut.
I think that was the full opener or something.
And we're still seeing stuff from this beginning project, and it just looks the same. Okay. That's kind of fun. Also, really long. Could have been cut like 2 seconds ago.
A little too much is unfortunately right.
It's true. It's true. And it's not a little too much in terms of like diversity of work. It's just you showed too much of the same stuff over and over and over again without like mixing it up and really cutting between that much. I think
some
like
of the cool shots at the end, put them at the beginning and the end.
make that satisfying
Sandwich.
good visual sandwich. And man, like if I had to just quantify like what makes a good reel in terms of pacing to give them that like, oh, I need to see more feeling, your shot shouldn't be longer than like a second and a half at most of the time. I feel like in our reel, we keep them down to like a second at longest. But we also have a lot of work to throw in there, you know? So we can't really afford to have them be super long. But I feel like if that's the comparison that we're looking at here, like a second and a half to maybe 2 seconds, this reel, each of those shots feels like 5 to 7 seconds, you know? It's just too long.
Even like studios with longer reels also kind of keep it down. They might like have the same project for a while, but they like kind of cut.
It's a
between
lot
scenes.
of different scenes that
Even if they're
feel
not-
different, you know?
Yeah, even if they're not cutting between different scenes in the same project, they're at least like cutting out some of the dead space so it keeps your attention.
Right.
Like maybe something's moving and then we cut to where it's like almost done moving. We don't need that middle section. We get it. We understand. We
Time
can interpolate
remapping.
ourselves.
Movement with nulls. You need both. That makes a good reel. Do something extra to the work.
Especially if all the stuff is kind of static in the middle. Maybe there's like slow moving scenes. Give it a little bit of zhuzh. Give it a little bit of ooh.
Give it some ooh and zhuzh.
Some ooh and zhuzh, dare I say. Also, Austin, we gotta make a full YouTube video on what makes a great reel.
We do. Write that down. Write that down.
I literally
All right. Boom roasted. I don't have anything more to say about that.
I'm good.
We're gonna have enough time to do another like 2 to 3 crits unless we get a bunch of questions in the chat or something. But
Come on, chat.
here's the other one that's already on here.
I want a question from the chat. Chat, by the time we're done critting this work,
There
expect
better
a
be
question.
like 10 questions in the chat, okay?
need a
Deep
good-
cuts, all right? Roast
cuts.
us, man. Give us some uncomfortable questions. We'll answer them. All right. Oz Motion Animation and Casper Motion. This thing with a witch. Let me refresh it.
It's a witch.
No
Yeah,
sound.
There you go.
Oh, is that a Wacom pen? That's cool.
Dude, that's the faux 3D is on point right here, dude.
It's really great.
There you go. The red on her shoes and in her hair is blending a little into the blue background.
There's not a whole lot of contrast there.
I would reevaluate the choice of using this blue gradient in the background. That's my biggest piece of critique, honestly.
Yeah. You could have done like a light green or something.
Light green. Could have gone with.
Or like an orange. An orange would work.
You could bring
Or a
out the
purple,
yellow.
since it's already like Halloween-y themed, you know, you could do a purple.
Yeah. This is very interesting. I love the reflection or like the little light that's going by on them.
On the pen.
Yeah. Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
What I had one main piece of feedback that I'm trying to remember. Some of these things that are going past don't feel like they're going very fast. That's my main thing. It's especially those like yellow pieces that are going by.
I like the yellow square, but the other two are looking a little strange to me.
They just look a little odd.
I think when she I mean it's such a small piece of feedback. When she goes back down, some of the movements feel a tiny bit jerky.
Agreed.
Like it's mostly on that left hand I'm looking at.
Yeah. It kind of like, it has some linear motion to it in some weird ways. Like it just kind of like...
Especially when she like gets up to dodge, the hand just kind of goes...
Yeah.
But it is very lifelike, and honestly, I would say that this is worth a rec. more than a
I'd say
crit.
so.
This is pretty impressive. That's very cool.
Like you could
Did
have, you could have told me that you did like a toon shader in Blender instead to make that pen and I'd believe you. If it's really faux 3D, that is really good faux 3D.
Yeah, that's nuts. Wait, hold on. Let me watch. I might have another. Yeah, all right. Like the pen, like, if you watch just the pen right before she dodges, it has this little like jump where it kind of goes. Did it? Do you see it like shake a tiny bit before it?
No.
It's such a minute thing.
Simply cannot see it. This
It
little
doesn't
green
matter.
bar that's on here could be cool to have do some effects or something. I
Oh,
don't
true,
know.
true.
Like maybe whenever she like freaks out, maybe it like flashes red for danger or something. I don't know. That could be cool. I don't have anything else to say about it though. Boom roasted.
This is very small. Austin, did you watch any of the original Wizard of Oz?
No.
Did you hear about like the terribleness that was that production?
Like multiple people died, didn't they?
Yes, the dog died as well.
Oh, as it goes.
Yeah, and the main lead. I keep wanting to say Alice, but it's not.
It's not Alice in Wonderland. It's
Alice in
Dorothy.
Wonderland. It's Dorothy. Oh my god, dude, like kind of abused. It was messed up.
Yikes.
Told not to eat and that kind of stuff.
Yikes.
Yeah, and like they used what was it? It's not arsenic. They used a toxic chemical for the snow.
I love that. Oh, you
Like
mean
every-
it's
Yeah, what is that?
ab something.
Yeah, but
Damn it! Wow, that's so frustrating.
I know, right? Also, there was
Asbestos.
Asbestos. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know how like everyone in the lion. I'm gonna take my sunglasses off. The
Oh yes, it's not crit time anymore.
It's not crit time anymore.
My bad.
The lion wants courage, a heart, or whatever.
Right.
They each want their own thing. They also each kind of had their own deadly thing that's happening on set. The lion costume was extremely hot and gave that guy like heat stroke multiple times. The paint for
It was lead, wasn't it?
it was lead. It had lead in it.
Awkward.
They all had arsenic happening. It was bad. It was real bad. And that like ended up kind of shortening a lot of people's lifespan. On that set. So shout out. Also, the green paint I think also had lead in it.
So shouts out to that witch who ultimately is going to die from lead poisoning.
Yikes.
Okay, we got a couple questions. Nick M says, just a quick motion design question. What are your top 3 ways of creating gradients that give the most control in terms of animation and colors? Pull out your Illustrator, Noah. Pull it out.
I'll pull out my Illustrator.
Make some gradients for the people.
Hold on, don't go over to my screen yet.
I'm
I
not
have lots
yet.
of things that are under NDA.
I know. I have the same thing on my Illustrator. That's why I'm have you do it. In the meantime, I'll answer these other 2 questions. Anas says, I have posted my work a week ago, but you didn't review it. How does this work? Well, we do have a list. So depending on when you submitted it, there might have already been a week's worth in there. Let me check.
Wow, I just didn't save this thing. Also, Sam and I were working on something yesterday for like a couple hours,
Yeah.
and we didn't save until like hour 2.
Both of y'all. I should have known that. You guys never
In the
save your
recording,
stuff.
we're both like, "Oh no, we're freaks. We should be fine."
Oh man.
We're just so in the trenches, and we care so much that
Yeah.
it's hard to remember sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Anas, if you let me know which email you submitted, I can check and see how far away it is. Hazam says, good job, Cappy. Jeet said, would you rather work on a highly stylized animation project with a unique aesthetic or a highly realistic scene with attention to detail? Absolutely highly stylized project with a unique aesthetic.
Absolutely.
150% of the time. Highly realistic stuff, that's what live action is for. I don't need to be doing that with motion. No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I will pass on that.
All right.
Are you prepared for illustratoring?
Uh-huh. I sure am.
There you are. You are on the show.
Beautiful.
First time screen sharer, long time hoster.
Wow, great to be here. So first I'm gonna just do the very basic, like, let's say this is gonna be like a nice, like, kind of yellowy. Then we're gonna throw on
A little
like
purpley guy.
a little purpley moment. We're gonna have it go down to, yeah, okay, that works.
Are you gonna add a little like
Just,
extra one at the bottom? Another
of
extra
course.
little.
So you can start with that. You can even start with something without the highlight. And just kind of
Notice though,
like that.
you can't really see it as a radial gradient as much. I mean, you know that he did that just then, but like if you just glance at that thing, the first thing you're thinking is not, oh, hey, look at that radial gradient.
Now, here's what I did here. I copy and pasted it on top. Right now, it's just full white. I'm going to turn the opacity off on one of them. And then
So
I
it's
can
just got a little highlight at
mess
the.
with this one. I can just do that. And then, or I could reverse it and then bring this like to here. I'm going to also make it smaller, bring it over here a little bit. And it has this like nice,
It feels like it's embedded in that scene now, you know?
yeah, I can rotate that. I can put that wherever I want. I could change the blending mode. There's like lots of little, but like you keep like adding these things on, and it just starts looking good. It just starts looking good. You can even get one that's like,
Like, look at
not
it.
white, perhaps. Perhaps we have just like a little glow from something that's a little dark down there. And then I'm gonna duplicate this one so that we don't have the white one. Turn that to 0. And we have like that little bit of, I don't remember what it's called, but a little bit of like glow from the bottom that takes away some of the darkness. And let me put this on a dark background so it looks
It
better.
looks so tasty. Yum, 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 yum. The trick is simply just don't treat the gradients like some artistic element. Treat them like lighting without having to use light objects. That's all that it is, honestly. And so you just keep adding things in ways to where, like, imagine there's a light in there and how it would react on that thing, and then make your gradients look how that would look, you know? Like if there's a pink object underneath that or something, then you could add another one of those like shallow gradients or whatever and have just a little bit of pink on the bottom of it. So you just get that little bit of reflection underneath it, you know? Nick says, what about when importing it into After Effects? How would you animate the gradient? Well, you see, because it's a shape layer, you just go to the gradient fill and you can animate the start and end point of, yeah, you can animate that endpoint or that start point, and you can move them around or do whatever the hell you want to them. And you can animate the actual like slider of the gradient. You can animate what those colors are and those sorts of things. You have full control over every single thing that you've been changing in Illustrator in order to make these in the first place. You know, it's great. It's a good time. Azem says, too easy. Thanks, Noah. Yes, mine does. It goes hard. It goes crazy. Brian says, please roast my work too. I think I submitted twice by accident, but is the same video. Well,
like with a little bit of like it's implied here, and
right?
That just like that makes lots of sense to us because you're like, oh, there's
look, light source and light. There it is.
That means it, you know, yeah.
But the key is making it not look like the thing that it is. If you can just see something as a linear gradient or as a radial gradient, sometimes it's okay to just use that as an artistic element, but more often than not, it just looks cooler if you turn it into, does this make sense in the scene lighting wise? Not just as a, ooh, pretty colors. Like that looks bad. That just looks bad.
Don't do this. I've seen this before. I don't know why people are doing this. Don't do it.
No one wants to see the middle of your radial gradient. Like,
sometimes
what
it
is
can
that?
be pretty to have like a gradient that's really clearly a gradient. Like maybe you do it like that, and it's like it's in the style to be like, oh, this is a gradient. You can really clearly tell.
Like that is an artistic element in that case.
But it almost never works with the radial.
Except for here, keep that thing there. Add a black circle, real small one in front of the radial gradient, so it's like a planet being silhouetted by a sun or something. Oh my god, now that looks cool. Crazy. But you know why it looks cool? Because you can't see the stupid center of the radial gradient. That nasty little blob. Yuck. Radial gradients are zits on your projects if you make them just look the way that they are. It's just not a good idea.
No, oh my god, let me turn you.
Now, Brian, I see your message. However, I don't see any emails with the name Brian in them on here on the sheet.
Let me show you another.
Sorry.
Gradients. It's called the mesh gradient tool.
Oh my god. However,
slaps.
you cannot use this in After Effects.
No,
so
you can't. This is Illustrator exclusive.
Yes.
But you can do something similar-ish in After Effects. You just put a point down, and you can put multiple down. You can basically go in and like all these little points that even make up the shape, you can change the color of them. So I select one, I can make it red. And I can select these two, and I can make them pinkish or something. And then you can change like how they interact with each other with these little Bezier curves. You can make something kind of fun, kind of funky, fresh, kind of cool. You can go in and be like more colors. Maybe we'll add like a yellow or something. Maybe here we'll make it like a green's kind of fun. Like something nice, like yeah, like one of those. You see?
I see.
And you can kind of have fun, and they blend together in like interesting, like neat little ways. And that's that tool. And you can make them warp to kind of fake lighting. Let me scoot this down a little bit.
Nick M says maybe blurring shapes could simulate the mesh gradient. Absolutely, we do that technique often.
That's how I did this background.
Helpful.
On my computer.
Not blurring shapes, but using the mesh gradient.
The mesh gradient tool. It's just a darn good time. And with that, we have 5 minutes. Let's do Rex.
Rex! It's...
Absolutely.
Sorry, it's... Rec time! Anyway, alright.
Hell yeah.
Do you wanna... Or here, I can line up. I'm already screen sharing with you, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good. Ready.
Oh, yeah. We've got this reel from Sam. Sorry, I still never learned how to pronounce his last name, but...
Oh, no.
You and I have DM'd once or twice. Mulartzik. Sam Mulartzik. That's what we're going with for now. I found this reel forever ago. I mean, it's 4 years old, but it just... Man, it just feels good, man. It's just great. Sorry, I had that way too quiet, and I still have this playing. My bad. Sorry, guys. I haven't done this every day for 32 days. I don't know what you're talking about. Yummy smears. Wait for it. Yummy. Yum.
Yeah. What a good vibe. I love that one.
Banging.
Yeah.
Yum, 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 yummy. I will admit, I still did get, it was like 45-second mark that I would have hovered my mouse in case anyone was wondering, but still a Rick. Still great.
Oh, fantastic.
Also, yes, Hazem, your name is also on the list. All of y'all are like number 8, 9 and 11 or something in the queue on the crits or something. All right, and then we got Optimistic Nihilism by Marcelo.
This is a banger. This is a classic. This is one of the first motion pieces Austin ever showed me.
It's a joy. It's a great time.
The first ones we were like, ooh, this is so fun over.
And here it is.
Why are we here? Who are we exactly? We search endlessly for these answers. We look again and again for purpose in our lives. Does it matter? We are but a cosmic speck in this vast universe. Just a pale blue dot.
What a beautiful shot, you know?
Stars do not care for us. We are born and then we die.
Delicious! Oh my god.
Where do we go when we're gone? And for how long? Is there
Delicious.
anything?
I wonder if that was done with
It
dissolve.
doesn't matter.
I don't know.
The reality is that right now,
I love that.
you and I are here. It is this truth that drives us to keep going, no matter how many mistakes we make. In the end, it won't matter.
I love those scenes, man.
Really?
Pull chain lamps, always a
It allows
good
us to
idea.
live on purpose. Explore new horizons and know you are a part of this vast universe.
I love the thumb there.
Everything there was and everything there ever will be.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have to make sense to anyone but you.
A little bit of chills. A little bit of chills. Every
What a
single
good
time.
one, man.
It's great. It's great.
It's so good. Also, yes, here's links to both of these in the chat.
Also, while you're waiting for us to get to your work to crit, go make more work and then submit it.
Make work to one-up yourself the last time you submitted
Yeah.
something. All right,
right.
Noah.
All right, y'all.
Is it rec time for you?
Yes. This is done by Whedon.
You
plus
are
Kennedy.
sharing the stream chat to me.
Really? Okay. There it is. Got it.
Fabulous. All right, we're good.
The music and sound was done by Ant Food, of course.
Yum, yum, yum.
And it was made by Buck. Check it out. This goes hard. Some crazy stuff. It only goes up to 720p, so you're just gonna have to deal.
I'll deal. Like, what the hell,
There's
man?
more. Like they did a couple of them. I love the sound on this.
That is so good, man.
Wham! Oh my god. It's got such good anticipation.
You know I love me some geometry.
Oh,
Yum! Yum, 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 dude.
Bangers. Absolutely.
You gotta link it to me,
I love
man. You gotta
I'll
link
link
it to
it
me.
to
The
you.
chat needs it.
Linking it to you right at this very single moment in time.
Thank goodness.
There you go.
All right, chat. Here is that one. And on that note, that is the show.
That's the show.
You know what
That's
you
the
gotta do.
show.
You gotta go ahead and submit your work down below for critique and join the review Discord while you're on your way down there as well.
That's the
and
show. That's
use
the show. Submit your work down below.
hashtag Daily Motion Show when you post on social media, and we just might wreck it.
Wreck it.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.